Tonight we journey upward, into the soft silver light that has watched over Earth for billions of quiet years. The moon, a companion in the sky, a gentle glow that rises as the world settles into sleep. You don't need to do anything right now. Just listen. Just breathe. Let your body sink a little deeper into comfort. Let your thoughts slow down like clouds drifting across a calm night sky. The moon has been there every night of your life, watching, waiting, glowing softly in the dark. It has seen mountains form and oceans rise. It has felt the pull of gravity and the whisper of solar wind. And tonight, it watches over you. So close your eyes if you wish, or keep them soft and unfocused. We are going to drift together through 12 gentle chapters of lunar wonder, each one a quiet thought. Each one a quiet thought. Each one a soft breath of cosmic beauty. Let the story carry you. Let the moon guide you into rest. And so we begin. The night begins its quiet descent. Somewhere above you, beyond the horizon, the moon is rising, slowly, silently, like a breath of silver pulled from the edge of the world. From the edge of the world. It does not announce itself. It does not demand attention. It simply appears. First as a pale glow softening the darkness, then as a shape, round, luminous, ancient. It climbs without effort, without sound. It drifts into the sky as if it has always belonged there. And in a way, it has. The moon's light is not its own. It is borrowed, reflected, a gift from the sun, carried across the emptiness of space and offered to the earth below. Sunlight touches the moon's surface, a surface of stone and dust, untouched by wind or rain, and bounces back toward us, gentle, soft, soft, soft. A second-hand glow that somehow feels warmer than the sun itself. This light has traveled 93 million miles from the sun to the moon, and then another 240,000 miles from the moon to your eyes. It is old light, patient light, patient light. Light that has crossed the void just to reach you in this moment. Imagine that. Every photon of moonlight you see tonight began its journey in the heart of a star. It raced through the vacuum of space, reflected off ancient lunar stone, and ended its voyage by touching your skin, your window, the trees outside your home. It is a connection, a thread between you and the cosmos. The moon does not burn. It does not flicker or fade. It simply glows. Steady and simply glows. Steady, unchanging. A beacon in the dark that asks nothing of you. It has no agenda, no urgency. It rises because it must. It glows because it can. And in doing so, it gives the night a shape, a softness, a reason to look up. People have always looked up, long before cities, long before language. Cities, long before language. Our ancestors stood beneath this same moon, feeling the same pull toward its quiet beauty. They did not understand what it was, not yet. But they knew it mattered. They knew it was watching. And so they watched back. The moon became a calendar, a guide, a clock written in light and shadow. When it was full, they hunted. When it disappeared, they rested. The cycles of the moon shaped the rhythms of life on Earth, not through force, but through presence. A gentle reminder that time moves, that seasons change, that nothing stays the same forever. But even as it changes, the moon remains. Night after night, year after year, millennium after millennium, it has been there through every storm, every war, every moment of peace. It has watched oceans rise and continents drift. It has seen species emerge and vanish. And still, it glows. Take a slow breath now. A still breath now. Feel the air move through you, soft and steady. Somewhere above, the The moon is doing the same thing it has done for 4.5 billion years. It is drifting through the sky, reflecting light, watching over the sleeping world. You are part of that world. And tonight, as you rest, the moon rests with you, not in sleep, for it never sleeps, but in the quiet companionship of two old friends, sharing the same night. Let that thought settle over you like a blanket. The moon is there. It has always been there. And it always will be. And now, we drift a little deeper into its story. Long, long ago, so long that the earth itself was still young and molten, something vast and violent happened in the darkness of space. A world the size of Mars, drifting through the early solar system, found itself on a collision course with our planet. There was no warning, no time to prepare, just the slow, inevitable pull of gravity drawing two worlds together, and then impact, not with a bang, but with a deep, silent shudder that rippled through both bodies. Rock met rock, heat met heat. The smaller world shattered. The Earth's surface erupted in waves of molten stone, glowing red and orange and white. Massive plumes of vaporized rock exploded into the sky, arcing outward into the black. For a moment, the Earth wore a ring, like Saturn, a glowing halo of debris, spinning slowly around the wounded planet. Fragments of two worlds, fused together by fire and force, orbiting in silence. But gravity is patient, and bit by bit, piece by piece, those fragments began to gather, to clump, to pull themselves together into something new. The moon was born, not in an instant, not in a day, but over thousands of years. The debris coalesced. It melted together, cooled and solidified. A new world, smaller than Earth, but no less real, a child of collision, a sibling born of shared stone. And from the very beginning, it glowed. In those early days. The moon was close. The moon was close, so close you could have seen every detail of its surface with the naked eye. It loomed in the sky, massive and bright, casting shadows sharper than any night you've ever known. The Earth spun faster then. A day lasted only 5 hours to the minutes. And the moon, pulled by tides and gravity, danced just above the horizon. But even then, it was pulling away. Slowly, infinitesimally. The moon's gravity tugged on the Earth's oceans, creating tides. And those tides, in turn, pushed back, transferring energy, nudging the moon a little farther away with every orbit, inch by inch. Year by year, the moon drifted outward like a child growing up, finding its own path. Today, it sits 240,000 miles away, far enough that it looks small and soft in the sky, but close enough that we can still feel its pull, close enough that it still watches over us. Imagine the moon's surface in those early days, molten, glowing, seas of liquid rock rippling across its face, lit from within by the heat of creation. And there was no air, no sound, just the slow churn of magma and the silent gaze of the Earth, watching its companion take shape. Over millions of years, the moon cooled. The molten seas hardened into dark plains. The crust thickened. The glow faded, replaced by the soft reflection of sunlight. The moon became what it is today, a quiet, ancient stone floating in the dark. But it remembers. Deep within its core, traces of that ancient heat still linger, and on its surface, the scars of its birth remain, frozen in stone, preserved for eternity. The moon is not just a neighbor, preserved a neighbor. It is family, made from the same material as Earth, born from the same moment of chaos. a reminder that even violence can create beauty, that even destruction can give birth to something worth protecting. And as you lie here tonight, breathing softly, drifting towards sleep, remember that the moon's story is also your story. We are all children of stardust. We are all born of fire and dust, and we are all, in our own way, glowing softly in the dark. Let that thought carry you forward into the next quiet chapter of the night. If you look up at the full moon, you will see patterns, dark patches scattered across its bright face, like ink spilled on silver parchment. These are the Luna Maria, the seas of the moon. They are not seas of the moon, but they are not seas. Not anymore, not in the way we understand the word. Long ago, when astronomers first turned their telescopes skyward, they saw these dark plains and thought they must be oceans. Water, they believed, shimmering under the Earth's gaze, and so they gave them names. Mare Tranquillitatis, the Sea of Tranquility, Mare Serenitatis, the Sea of Serenity, Mare Imbrium, the Sea of Rains. Beautiful names, poetic names, names that spoke of calm waters and gentle tides. But when humanity finally reached the moon, they found something else entirely. Not water, but stone. Ancient, frozen, silent. These seas are made of basalt, dark volcanic rock that flowed across the moon's surface billions of years ago. When the moon was younger, its interior was still hot. Magma churned beneath the crust, searching for a way out. And when asteroids struck the surface, punching deep craters into the stone, that magma found its escape. It rose, slowly. Like a dark tide rising from the depths, it filled the craters, spreading outward in vast, glowing rivers of molten rock. And then it cooled, hardened, became the dark plains we see today. These are not chaotic formations. They are smooth, flat, almost peaceful. If you were to stand in the middle of Mare Tranquillitatis, you would see a landscape of gentle, rolling darkness, stone so smooth it might as well be water frozen in time. And in a way, it is, because even though these seas are dry, even though no wave has ever broken upon their shores, they still carry a sense of calm. A stillness so deep you can feel it just by looking. The kind of stillness that invites you to stop, to breathe, to let go, to let go. Mare Tranquillitatis, the Sea of Tranquility, was where humanity first touched the moon. Neil Armstrong and Buzz Aldrin descended in their lunar module, engines firing in silence, dust rising in slow motion beneath them. And when they stepped out onto the surface, they stepped onto this ancient sea. No water greeted them, no waves, just dust. Fine, grey, clinging dust that had not moved in billions of years, but the name held true. Tranquility. Because standing there, in that vast, empty plain, they felt it. The overwhelming peace of a place untouched by time. The seas of the moon do not roar. They do not churn. They simply are. They rest beneath the stars, reflecting light, absorbing shadow. They have witnessed the birth of planets and the death of stars. And they will continue to rest long after we are gone. Imagine yourself there now, standing at the edge of one of those dark seas. The earth hangs above you, blue and bright, a jewel in the black. No sound, no wind, just the slow, steady rhythm of your own heartbeat echoing in your helmet. You look down. The ground beneath your feet is smooth, unbroken, a surface that has not felt the touch of water or air or life. Only time. only light. You take a step. Your boot presses into the dust, leaving a perfect print. It will stay there forever, because there is no wind to erase it, no rain to wash it away, just silence, just stillness. You look out across the sea. It stretches to the horizon, dark and soft, like velvet spread across the world. And you realize this is peace. Not the absence of sound, but the presence of something deeper, a calm that does not need to be earned or fought for, a calm that simply exists. Mer serenitatis, mer nectaris, mer nectaris, mer humorum, the sea of serenity, the sea of nectar, the sea of moisture, each one a poem written in stone, each one a lullaby sung in silence. And as you stand there, breathing slowly, feeling the weight of the earth above you, you understand why they were named seas. Not because they hold water, but because they hold stillness. The same stillness you feel when you look out over an ocean at dusk. The same stillness that settles over you now as you drift deeper into rest. Let the seas of the moon carry you. Let their ancient calm wrap around you like a tide. You are safe here. You are held. And the journey continues, softly, gently, into the next chapter of the night. The moon's face is marked, not with flaws, but with history. Every crater is a story, every scar a memory frozen in stone. For billions of years, the moon has stood guard over Earth. And in doing so, it has absorbed countless impacts, asteroids, comets, fragments of rock drifting through the solar system, pulled in by gravity, colliding with the surface in silent explosions of dust and light. Each impact leaves a crater, and a bowl-shaped depression ringed by raised walls, filled with shadow. Some are small, barely visible from Earth. Others are vast, stretching hundreds of miles across, deep enough to swallow mountains. And they are everywhere. Thousands of them, tens of thousands, layered one upon another, overlapping like ripples on a pond. The moon is a canvas, and time is the artist, painting in stone and shadow. Take a moment now. Imagine looking at the moon through a telescope. The craters come into focus, one by one, each one unique, each one ancient. You can see the sharpness of their rims, the smoothness of their flaws, the way light and shadow play across their surfaces. This large, bright crater is Copernicus, named after the astronomer who changed how we see the universe. It is young as craters go, only about 800 million years old, young enough that its walls are still bright, still sharp, young enough that rays of ejected material still streak outward from its center like frozen lightning across the surface. And here, this smaller, darker crater is Tycho, even younger. 110 million years old, a blink in cosmic time. When Tycho formed, dinosaurs still walked the Earth. And when the asteroid struck the moon's surface, ejecting material in all directions, some of those fragments may have made it all the way to Earth, blazing through the atmosphere like meteors. Every crater tells a story of collision, of energy, of transformation, but also of stillness. Because once the dust settles, once the waves of impact fade, the crater remains, unchanged, unmoving, a permanent mark in an ever-shifting universe. There is something deeply calming about that. The idea that the moon remembers, that it holds on to every impact, every moment, every scar. It does not heal, it does not forget, It simply carries the marks forward into eternity. You too carry marks, moments that have shaped you, experiences that left impressions. Some are small, some are vast, but they are all part of who you are. And like the moon, you do not need to erase them. You do not need to forget. You only need to carry them forward, to let them become part of your story. The moon does not mourn its craters. It does not wish them away. It wears them like a map, a record of everywhere it has been, everything it has endured. And in doing so, it teaches us something. That scars are not weaknesses. They are proof of survival, proof that we are still here, still glowing, still whole. Breathe that in, slowly, deeply. Let the idea settle into your chest. You are like the moon. Marked, yes. Scarred, perhaps, but still beautiful, still luminous, still worthy of being seen. The largest crater on the moon is called the South Pole Aitken Basin. It is one of the largest impact craters in the entire solar system, over 1,500 miles across and 8 miles deep. If you could stand at its center and look up, the walls would be beyond the horizon. You would be in a world of shadow and stone, surrounded by the echoes of an ancient collision. But even there, in the deepest darkness, there is stillness, there is stillness, there is peace, because the impact is over. The violence has passed. What remains is only the quiet aftermath, a place where time moves slowly, where light struggles to reach, where everything rests. And that is where we are now, in the quiet aftermath. The day is over. The noise has faded. The noise has faded. The world around you has softened into night, and you, like the moon, are allowed to rest, to be still, to carry your stories without needing to explain them. The craters of the moon are not wounds. They are memories. And memories, when held gently, can become sources of strength, reminders of what we have endured, proof that we are still here, still glowing, still watching over the world below. Let the moon hold your memories tonight. Let it carry them for you so you don't have to. And as you drift deeper into rest, know that you are not alone, alone. The moon has been marked, just as you have, and it shines anyway, softly, beautifully, endlessly. And now, we move forward into even deeper stillness. There are places on the moon where the sun never reaches, deep craters at the poles hidden in eternal night, shadows that have not felt warmth in billions of years. These are the moon's coldest, darkest places, regions where temperatures plunge to -300 degrees Fahrenheit, colder than Pluto, colder than Pluto, colder than the void of deep space, so cold that even molecules freeze in place. And yet, life exists there. Not life as we know it, but something ancient and patient, water ice, frozen, buried, waiting. Scientists discovered this ice only recently, hidden in the floors of permanently shadowed craters, preserved by the cold and the dark. Water molecules brought to the moon by comets billions of years ago, trapped in stone, untouched by light or heat. It is strange to think of water on the moon, a place so dry, so barren, holding on to this quiet treasure. But the universe is full of paradoxes. Full of hidden pockets of wonder, waiting to be found. Imagine one of these craters now. Picture yourself descending into it, step by step. The sunlight fades behind you. The walls rise around you, jagged and ancient. And the temperature drops, slowly at first, then faster, until the cold becomes absolute. You reach the floor. No light touches this place. Your headlamp cuts through the darkness, illuminating a landscape of frost and stone. Everything is still. Everything is silent. This is a place beyond time. A place where nothing changes. Where nothing moves. Where nothing moves. And yet, it is not lifeless, because beneath your feet, locked in the stone, is water. The same water that fills Earth's oceans. The same water that flows through rivers, falls as rain, sustains every living thing. Here, frozen, waiting, there is something deeply peaceful about this. Something deeply peaceful about this. The idea that even in the darkest, coldest places, something essential remains. Something worth protecting. Something worth holding on to. You do not need to be in the light to matter. You do not need to be warm or bright or visible to have value. Sometimes the most important things are hidden. Sometimes the most important things are hidden. Quiet. Waiting for the right moment to be discovered. The moon teaches us this. It shows us that darkness is not emptiness. That cold is not cruelty. That stillness is not the absence of life, but a different kind of presence. A slower, deeper, more patient way of being. Breathe into that now. Let yourself sink a little deeper into the dark, not in fear, but in trust, because the dark is not your enemy. It is a place of rest, a place where you can let go, where you can simply be. The permanently shadowed craters of the moon will never see the sun. They will never know warmth. Warmth. But they do not need to. They have found their own kind of peace, a peace born of stillness, of acceptance, of simply existing, without needing to change, and perhaps you can find that peace too, not by forcing yourself into the light, but by allowing yourself to rest in the shadows, to be still, to trust that even in the dark you are held, you are safe. The moon's shadows do not fade, they do not disappear, they remain, constant and unchanging, a reminder that some things are meant to last, that some things are meant to endure, and you are one of those things. Let the shadows hold you now. Let them wrap around you like a blanket, soft and cool and infinite. You are safe here. You are allowed to rest. And as the night deepens, we drift onward, carried by the moon's gentle pull. The moon does not only glow, it pulls. It pulls. Every moment, every second, the moon's gravity reaches across the emptiness of space and touches the earth. It tugs on the oceans, lifting them gently, creating the tides, a slow, rhythmic pulse that has repeated twice a day for billions of years. High tide, low tide, high tide, low tide, high tide, low tide. The breath of the ocean, inhaling and exhaling in time with the moon's orbit. Imagine standing on a beach at night. The waves roll in, soft and steady. The water climbs the sand, reaching as far as it can, and then it retreats, slowly, gently, only to return again, moments later. This is the moon's doing. Its gravity pulls the water toward it, creating a bulge on the side of Earth facing the moon. And on the opposite side, another bulge forms, not because the moon is pulling harder, but because the Earth itself is being pulled slightly away from the water. Two bulges, two bulges, two bulges, two high tides. And as the Earth rotates beneath them, the tides sweep across the surface, touching every shore, every coast, every edge of every continent. It is a dance, a slow, graceful, endless dance between two worlds. The moon leads, and the earth follows. The oceans rise and fall, and life moves with them. Tides shape the rhythms of the sea. Creatures time their lives to the moon's pull. Crabs emerge at low tide, scuttling across exposed sand. Fish swim into shallow waters when the tide rises, searching for food. Coral reefs spawn during full moons, releasing clouds of eggs and sperm into the current, timed perfectly to the lunar cycle. Even humans feel the pull, not consciously perhaps, but deeply. Our ancestors relied on the tides for fishing, for travel, for survival. Survival. They learned to read the moon, to predict when the water would rise, when it would fall, and in doing so, they connected themselves to something larger, to the rhythm of the cosmos. The moon's pull is gentle. You cannot feel it in your body, but it is there. But it is there, a constant, invisible thread connecting you to the sky, reminding you that you are part of a system, a web of gravity and light and time stretching across the solar system and beyond. Take a breath now. Feel the air move through you, in, out, slow, steady, like the tides, like the moon's orbit. A rhythm you have carried with you since birth. The moon teaches us about rhythm, about patience, about the power of small, repeated actions. The tides do not rush, they do not force. They simply move, again and again, shaping the world one wave at a time. And perhaps that is how we should move too, not in haste, not in desperation, but with the slow, steady confidence of the tides, trusting that we are being pulled forward, that we are part of a larger rhythm, that we do not need to control everything, only to flow with it. The moon has pulled the Earth's oceans for billions of years. Oceans for billions of years. And in that time, it has also pulled itself away. The tides transfer energy from the Earth to the moon, pushing it a little farther out with each orbit. Inch by inch, year by year, the moon is leaving, but not yet. Not for a long, long time. For now, it remains close enough to touch us, close enough to shape us, close enough to guide us through the dark. And as you rest here, breathing softly, drifting towards sleep, know that you are being pulled too, not away, but inward. Let it guide you down, like a tide pulling gently out to sea. You are safe. You are held. You are exactly where you need to be. And the journey continues, softly, endlessly, into the next gentle chapter. The moon does not always look the same. Does not always look the same. Some nights, it is a bright, full circle, glowing like a lantern in the dark. Other nights, it is a thin crescent, barely visible against the stars. And some nights, it disappears entirely. But it is always there, even when you cannot see it, even when the sky is dark and empty. The moon has not gone. It has only turned its face away, waiting for the right moment to return. Its face away, waiting for the right moment to return. This is the lesson of the phases. That change is not loss, that absence is not disappearance, that even when something seems to vanish, it is still present, just hidden, just waiting, just preparing to reappear. The moon's phases follow a rhythm, a cycle that lasts about 29.5 days. It begins with the new moon, invisible, hidden in the sun's glare. Then slowly a sliver of light appears, a crescent, thin and delicate, like a whisper of silver in the sky. Night by night, the crescent grows, the moon waxes, filling with light. First quarter, tribus, and then full, bright, radiant. A perfect circle of reflected sunlight, casting shadows on the ground below, but it does not stay full. Nothing does. The light begins to fade. Moon wanes. Gibbous again. Last quarter. Crescent. And finally, darkness. The cycle completes and begins again. There is something deeply comforting about this. The predictability, the reliability, The knowledge that even when the moon disappears, it will return, always, without fail. You can trust the moon, you can trust the cycle, and perhaps you can trust the cycle, and perhaps you can trust yourself too. Trust that even when you feel empty, even when you feel like you have nothing left to give, you are not gone. You are only resting, preparing, waiting for the right moment to shine again. The phases of the moon teach patience. They teach us that growth is not instant. That light does not appear all at once. It builds, slowly, gradually, one sliver at a time, and that is okay. You do not need to be full all the time. You do not need to be bright and radiant every single moment. You are allowed to wax and wane, to fill and empty, to shine and rest. Imagine the moon now in its crescent phase, a thin curve of light against the dark. It is small, fragile even, but it is there, and that is enough, because it knows, it remembers, that the light will grow, that fullness will return, that this is only one moment in an endless cycle. That this is only one moment in an endless cycle. You too are in a phase, right now, tonight. You may feel full, or you may feel empty. You may feel bright, or you may feel dim. But wherever you are in your cycle, it is exactly where you need to be. The moon does not rush. It does not force itself to be full before its time. Force itself to be full before its time. It moves at its own pace, following the rhythm of its orbit, trusting that the light will come when it is ready. And so can you. You do not need to hurry. You do not need to force yourself to be more than you are right now. You only need to trust. Trust that you are moving forward. Trust that the light is coming. Trust that this, too, is part of the journey. The full moon is beautiful. Yes, everyone loves the full moon, but the crescent is beautiful too. The new moon, invisible and quiet, is beautiful too. Every phase has its own kind of grace, its own kind of light. Its own kind of light. And every phase of you, every version of you, in every moment, is enough, is worthy, is deserving of rest. Let the moon's phases guide you now. Let them remind you that change is natural, that cycles are not failures, that waning is not weakness. It is simply the way of things. It is simply the way of things. The moon will be full again, and so will you. But for now, rest, drift. Let yourself be whatever phase you are, and trust that tomorrow the light will grow. Softly, gently, inevitably. And we continue deeper into the night, deeper into wonder. The moon does not travel alone. As it orbits the Earth, it shares the sky with countless companions. Stars, planets, comets, meteors, a celestial community drifting through the dark together. Sometimes the moon passes close to a planet. Venus, bright and golden, hanging low on the horizon. Horizon. Or Jupiter, pale and steady, glowing softly in the east. And for a few nights, they share the sky. Two travelers crossing paths, acknowledging each other in silence before moving on. These are called conjunctions, moments when two celestial bodies appear close together from our perspective on Earth. They are not truly close, of course. Of course, they are separated by millions of miles. But from here, from the ground, they seem to touch, to dance, to whisper secrets only they can hear. Imagine that now. The moon, bright and full, drifting past Mars. A red planet, small but fierce, glowing like an ember against the black. So one night, they are neighbors. And then the moon moves on, continuing its endless orbit, leaving Mars behind. There is something deeply poetic about this. The idea that even the moon, ancient and solitary as it is, does not walk alone. It has companions, it has friends, and even though it must keep moving, even though it cannot stay, it is never truly isolated. You, too, have companions, sure, have companions. People who drift in and out of your life, crossing paths, sharing moments, and then moving on. Some stay, some leave, but all of them, every single one, matters. They are part of your journey, part of your orbit. And even when you feel alone, even when the night seems vast and empty, you are not. You are surrounded by stars, by light, by the silent presence of a universe that holds you. The moon also shares the sky with meteors, shooting stars streaking across the dark in brief, brilliant flashes. These are fragments of comets left behind as they orbit the sun. These are fragments of comets. The Earth passes through these streams of debris, and the particles burn up in the atmosphere, creating the light shows we call meteor showers. The moon watches these showers. It has watched them for billions of years. The Perseids, the Leonids, the Geminids, the Geminids, the Geminids, each one a shower of light, brief and beautiful, a reminder that even destruction can create wonder, and perhaps that is true for us too. The things that break, the things that burn, the things that fall apart, the things that fall apart, they are not only endings, they are also beginnings, moments of light in the dark. Brief, yes, but unforgettable. The moon also knows the stars. It drifts past them every night, silent and steady, never stopping. The stars do not move, or rather, they move so slowly that from our perspective, they seem fixed. But the moon moves. Or so. It slides across the constellations, visiting each one in turn. Tonight, it might rest in Taurus. Tomorrow, Gemini. Next week, Cancer. A slow, graceful tour of the zodiac, repeated endlessly, year after year, and as it moves, it changes. The stars behind it shift. The planets around it wander. The universe itself expands, but the moon remains, constant, familiar, a steady point in an ever-shifting sky. This is the gift of the moon. Not that it stays the same, but that it stays present, that it continues, that it shows up, night after night, no matter what else is happening in the universe. And you are doing the same. You are showing up. You are continuing. Even when the world around you shifts, even when companions come and go, even when the stars themselves seem to move, you remain present, real, worthy of being seen. Take a breath now. Feel the weight of that. You are here. You are part of this vast, beautiful, endlessly unfolding story. And the moon sees you, just as you see it. You are companions. You and the moon, sharing the same night, moving through the same sky. And though you may never touch, though you may never speak, you are connected. By light, by gravity, by the simple act of existing in the same moment, and that is enough. The journey continues. The companions drift onward, and the night deepens, soft and full of wonder. On July 20th, 1969, humanity touched the moon for the first time. Neil Armstrong climbed down the ladder of the lunar module, his boots pressing gently into the dust. He paused for a moment, looking out across the barren landscape, and then, softly, he spoke, words that would echo across history. That's one small step for man, one giant leap for mankind, and he stepped. The first human footprint on another world, it is still there. That footprint, untouched, unchanged, because there is no wind on the moon, no rain, no erosion. The dust does not shift. The print does not fade. It will remain there for millions of years, a silent testament to the moment humanity reached beyond Earth. Imagine that. Your mark left on a world, preserved forever. Not carved in stone, but pressed in dust, and yet more permanent than anything on Earth. Armstrong and Buzz Aldrin spent 2.5 hours walking on the surface. They collected rocks. They planted a flag. They planted a flag. They set up scientific instruments. But mostly, they simply looked around in awe, in wonder, in the quiet realization that they were farther from home than any human had ever been. And yet, they were not afraid, because the moon, for all its strangeness, felt familiar, silent, calm. A place that invited exploration, not in haste, but with reverence. They moved slowly, every step deliberate, every motion careful, not because they were afraid of falling, but because they wanted to remember, to savor, to let the moment settle into their bones. And when they lifted off, when the module's engines fired, and they began their journey back to Earth, they left something behind. Not just footprints, but a piece of themselves. A part of their story, written in dust and light. The moon holds those stories now. 6 missions, 12 astronauts, 12 sets of footprints scattered across the surface, each one a testament to courage, to curiosity, to the unshakable human desire to see what lies beyond. But the moon does not judge. It does not celebrate or mourn. It simply holds. It keeps the footprints safe. Holds. It keeps the footprints safe. It watches over them as it has watched over everything else. Patient, silent, eternal. There is something deeply moving about this. The idea that the moon is not just a distant object, but a keeper of memory. A place where our stories are preserved, not in books or films, but in the very fabric of another world. And perhaps your stories are being kept too, not on the moon, but in the hearts of those who know you, in the moments you shared, in the quiet, unnoticed ways you touched the world. You do not need to plant a flag to matter. You do not need to travel to another world to leave a mark. You only need to exist, to be present, to move through life with the same quiet reverence the astronauts felt on the moon, because every step you take matters. Every moment you live is a footprint. And even if the world around you shifts and changes, even if the wind blows and the rain falls, the essence of those moments remains, held, preserved, sacred. The moon teaches us this, that our marks do not need to be loud to be lasting. That our presence does not need to be dramatic to be meaningful. That simply being here, simply existing, is enough. The astronauts who walked on the moon did not conquer it. They did not claim it. They simply visited. And in doing so, they honored it. They moved gently. They spoke softly. They treated it with the reverence it deserved. And perhaps that is how we should move through life too, not as conquerors but as visitors, not claiming but honoring, not forcing but flowing. The moon is still there. The footprints are still there. The footprints are still there. And somewhere, in the quiet of the night, they wait, patient, silent, a reminder that we are capable of reaching beyond ourselves, of touching something greater, of leaving beauty in our wake. And as you drift deeper into rest, as the night wraps around you like a blanket, know that you too have left footprints, that you too have touched the world, and that those marks, those quiet, gentle marks, will last, softly, endlessly, forever. and the story continues into the realm of myth and memory. Long before telescopes, long before science, long before anyone knew what the moon truly was, people told stories. They looked up at the glowing orb in the sky and saw faces, saw animals, saw gods, saw animals, saw gods. And they wove those visions into myths, stories that explained the unexplainable, that gave meaning to the mysterious. In some cultures, the moon was a goddess. Kerlin, the Greeks called her Ke-ah. A beautiful woman riding a silver chariot across the night sky, her long hair trailing behind her like clouds. She fell in love with a mortal, a shepherd named Endymion, and each night she descended to earth to watch him sleep. In other cultures, the moon was a trickster. In other cultures, the moon was a trickster. Coyote stole it from the sky and hung it in a tree. Raven plucked it from a box and set it free. And Nancy, the spider, wove it into existence with threads of starlight. And in others still, the moon was a mirror, a reflection of the earth, a reflection of the earth, a place where the dead went to rest, watching over the living from a distance, glowing softly in the dark. Every culture had a moon myth. Every people had a story. And though the details differed, the essence was the same. The moon was sacred. The moon was powerful. The moon was a bridge between worlds, between the known and the unknown, the living and the dead, the earthly and the divine. Imagine those ancient people now, sitting around fires, looking up at the sky, telling stories, the moon above them, glowing softly, listening, watching, becoming whatever they needed it to be, a mother, a warrior, a lover, a guide. The moon did not correct them. It did not say, "No, I am only stone and dust." It simply shone, and in doing so, it allowed them to dream, to imagine, to find meaning in the meaningless void. There is something beautiful about that, the idea that the moon is not only what it is, but also what we make of it, that it holds space for our stories, our hopes, our fears, that it becomes whatever we need it to be. For the wolves, it was a call to sing. They howled at the full moon, not in worship, but in recognition, a greeting, acknowledgement of a fellow traveler. In the night, for the tides, it was a conductor, a silent metronome, keeping time, guiding the rhythm of the sea. For the poets, it was inspiration, a muse, a symbol of love, of longing, of beauty, too pure to be captured in words. And for you, what is the moon? Perhaps it is a comfort, a familiar face in the dark, a reminder that even when you feel alone, even when the night seems endless, there is something above you, watching, glowing, holding steady. Or perhaps it is a question, a mystery, a distant world that invites you to wonder, to dream, to imagine what lies beyond the boundaries of your everyday life. Or perhaps it is simply light, a soft, gentle glow that cuts through the darkness, not with force, but with presence. Not with force, but with presence. A reminder that even the smallest light can matter, that even the faintest glow can guide you home. The myths of the moon are not lies, they are truths of a different kind. Truths about what we need, what we fear, what we hope for, and the moon, in its infinite patience, holds them all. It does not deny the science, it does not reject the facts, but it makes room for something more. For the stories, for the dreams, for the quiet, unspoken belief that the universe is not only mechanical, but also magical. And perhaps that is the moon's greatest gift. Not its light, not its gravity. A song that says, "You are safe, you are seen, you are held," Let the myths of the moon wrap around you. Let them remind you that you, too, are more than what you seem. That you, too, hold stories, meanings, mysteries that cannot be fully explained. And that is beautiful. The journey deepens now. The moon has told you its story, born of fire, marked by time, companion to the earth, keeper of tides, watcher of dreams. And through it all, it has remained constant, patient, steady. It has taught you many things, that scars are not weaknesses, that phases are not failures, that stillness is not emptiness, but a different kind of fullness, that even in the dark you are seen, you are held, you are enough, and now it sings you to sleep, not with words, not with sound, but with light, with presence, with the quiet unspoken promise that it will be there tomorrow, and the day after, and the day after that. The moon does not end, it does not disappear, it only sets, and in setting it makes room for the sun, for daylight, for the next chapter of the world's story. But when the sun sets again, the moon will return, always, without fail, without fail, without fail. This is the eternal lullaby. Not a song that ends, but one that repeats endlessly, softly, carrying you through every night of your life. Let go now. Let the moon carry you. Let the story fade. Let your thoughts dissolve into dreams. You have traveled far to dissolve into dreams. You have traveled far tonight, across billions of years, across millions of miles, into craters and shadows, into seas and myths, into footprints and phases. And now you have arrived here in rest, in peace, in the gentle embrace of the night. The moon is setting, but you are rising, rising into sleep, into dream, into the quiet, sacred space where the world softens and the mind finally lets go. Breathe slowly, deeply. The moon watches, the stars glow, the universe holds you. And you are safe. Sleep now, sleep deeply. The moon will still be there when you wake. And the story will continue, always, forever, in silver light and endless night. Good night.